Welcome back. Let's jump right in. Today's explainer is an absolutely fascinating one because we're taking a laser-focused look at a massive structural shift happening right now. We're drawing our insights today entirely from a powerful, sweeping claim made by the GeneCapsule channel. We aren't just looking at random vocabulary today, we're deeply deconstructing a complete conceptual paradigm shift. It is so crucial to occasionally slow down and look at the actual architecture of a claim, especially one this monumental. So, if you love understanding the underlying structural changes of our global systems and appreciate a clear breakdown of the facts driving them, you are in exactly the right place. Let's get right to it and start unpacking this.
All right, Section 1, the GeneCapsule premise.
Okay, let's dive into this. The exact quote from the GeneCapsule source that anchors everything we're looking at today is this: "The clean energy boom is creating a new industrial revolution." Now, they aren't just saying clean energy is, a good investment or growing steadily. They're using aggressive, monumental language here. And they back it up with some staggering reality, like, get this, the fact that renewables recently accounted for over 80% of all new power capacity added globally in a single year. 80%. The source pairs the word boom directly with the concept of a new industrial revolution, linked right together by the active verb creating. This is exactly the kind of bold, structural claim we want to isolate. Because honestly, if this premise holds true, it fundamentally alters how we understand this entire decade.
So, that brings us to a really fundamental question. What exactly elevates a boom to a revolution? Think about it for a second. A boom? Well, that's an event, but a revolution is a completely new era. So how do we cross that bridge? How do we know when we've stepped over the line from just a temporary, albeit massive, market surge into a permanent, irreversible transformation of human society? Keep that threshold in the back of your mind as we keep going.
Moving on to Section 2, defining the energy boom. So, the GeneCapsule source is explicitly telling us that the clean energy sector isn't just experiencing some gradual linear climb that we can easily get used to. No, it is an explosion of activity. To put that into perspective, the source points out that global renewable capacity additions didn't just tick upward, they skyrocketed by nearly 50% in just one recent year. I mean, that is sheer scale, intensely concentrated, and happening at breakneck speed. It's the absolute opposite of a slow, multi-generational transition. A boom disrupts the status quo immediately, and really understanding this aggressive speed, that's absolutely vital to grasping the source's larger claim.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how the GeneCapsule source draws a direct, unbreakable causal line. The clean energy boom acts as our catalyst, and the new industrial revolution is the outcome. The boom is the spark, right? It's the engine, the driving force, and the revolution is the destination, the completely reshaped landscape. It's a super bold cause and effect relationship. We aren't just building more solar panels. According to the source, the sheer volume of that buildup is actually forcing an irreversible upgrade to the entire global machine.
Which brings us to Section 3, a new industrial revolution.
So the crucial point is that we're no longer talking about just buying slightly different products or, tweaking a supply chain. We're talking about changing the very foundation of how our world functions. The source outlines how entire economies are shifting away from traditional resource extraction models over to technology manufacturing models. Just think about massive gigafactories literally replacing conventional refineries in regional economic importance. A new industrial revolution completely rewrites the rules of the entire economy, the global workforce, and even our daily human life. The GeneCapsule channel is explicitly stating that clean energy is the direct trigger for a shift of this monumental, historical magnitude. Let's look at how this builds. The GeneCapsule logic relies on a really direct equation. Step 1, rapid clean energy expansion, inevitably forces Step 2, foundational industrial transformation. By stepping through this conceptually, we see a pretty flawless logical progression. You literally cannot reach Step 2 without Step 1 happening first. For instance, the massive scaling of battery production in Step 1 is exactly what forces the sudden electrification of heavy transport and global shipping in Step 2. And because Step 1 is currently in hyperdrive, Step 2 becomes, not just a possibility, but a fast-approaching reality that we really have to contend with.
Let's plot this out conceptually so we can really see the big picture here. Historically, we sat in the pre-boom era. That was the old status quo. Now we are accelerating through the clean energy boom. That's that concentrated sudden expansion where gigawatts of power are being added almost overnight, which means we're on a direct collision course with the new industrial revolution. Why does this actually matter for us? Because understanding exactly where we sit on this trajectory is critical for how you perceive every single change happening in the world around you right now. You aren't just living through an interesting economic trend. According to our source, you are actively living through the volatile bridge between two entirely distinct eras of human history.
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly weighty question to close out our explainer. Are we prepared for the reality of a new industrial revolution? Take a moment to really think about the real-world weight of the GeneCapsule premise we've unpacked today. If a foundational, structural shift in human society is truly upon us, driven by that staggering leap in global energy capacity and the rise of a completely new manufacturing baseline, what does that actually mean for our global infrastructure, our personal economies, and ultimately our collective future? It's a massive concept to digest, for sure. But I hope this structured breakdown has helped you grasp the profound, world-changing implications hidden inside the source material. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep analyzing the structures around you, and I'll catch you next time.